Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing really well. So in today's video I'm going to be talking through 9 top tips to keep your hair in the best health possible. And it doesn't matter what hair type you have and how damaged it already is. Starting the journey to healthier hair is something that I have truly embarked on. I used to have hair that wouldn't grow past this length, and now it's much longer and in such good condition. It's in the best condition of its life. I've done several videos already talking about tips on how to grow your hair longer, but today I thought I'd talk about how to maintain healthy hair, so no matter what length your hair is, then these tips will work for you. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. So the first tip is when you're wearing your hair up, what type of hairbands are the best to use and which should you avoid? So the ones that I really recommend using and really are the best for your hair because they don't tug at your hair, they don't like cut it off, they're not too harsh, are big fluffy scrunchies. These are the first recommendation, and things like this, they're so soft. This one's a velvet one and this is a fabric one, but silk ones are even better for your hair because they just are so soft. The material is just so comforting on the hair, but these have no tightness to them. I can put them on my hand and there's no pressure, and it's just a really comfortable hairband to wear in the hair. Not only that, it's obviously really in fashion at the moment, which is a plus, but even if it's not, if you wear your hair up in the house all the time and you're looking for the best hairband just to throw it up, I definitely recommend scrunchies. They are the best place to go, and it's just so soft and they're just such a better option for your hair. Another recommendation for hair bands are invisible balls. As you can see, this one is so stretched out because I've just taken my hair out from being up, and these are so good for your hair because they don't pull or tug. I always use invisible balls on my hair and I find that there's just never any hair kind of coming off of them, and I'm never putting my hair too tight that it tugs or pulls, and I really like these because I find that they're a lot more gentle on my hair and just don't cause the strain of traditional hair bands. So the ones to avoid are elastic bands for obvious reasons. They're very tight on your hair. They'll literally cut through your hair if they're too tight. Almost see it as a miniature guillotine, that if it's too tight, it's going to just start to snap off those hair strands. Your hair is so fragile, even if it's in the best health possible. Things like that are best to avoid. Other hairbands to avoid are those with the metal edges. I feel like I'm getting flashback vibes from my childhood. My mum would always put my hair in those elastic bands where it had metal in the band, and they are just the worst thing for your hair. I know that Primark sells them really cheap, but so does Primark sells scrunchies really cheap, and their version of invisible balls, and they're just so much better. So you don't have to spend a fortune to use good hairbands, but just anything with metal in it you don't want on your hair. So I definitely say avoid those and just use something that's not too tight. If you do put your hair up, wear it a bit looser, but scrunchies or even invisible balls are a great choice. Now the next tip for healthy hair is to wash your hairbrush every single week, and this is so important. I always think of it like your makeup brushes. If you haven't washed your makeup brushes for months, there's going to be so much bacteria on there, so much dirt, and you're not going to want to put that on your skin. Well, it's the same with your hairbrush, and I always refer to this in my videos, but I see skincare and hair care as the same realm. I find that whatever you do to your skin, your hair is affected, and I just see treating the two as very similar. And technically, especially when it comes to growing your hair, your scalp is your skin, and it's really important to be mindful of the things that you're putting on it and the way that you're treating it. So the first thing is to remove any hair that is kind of in your hairbrush using a comb to like pull it out. Try not to use your fingers because obviously there's bacteria on your fingers, but you are going to wash it after that. So it's whatever you find the best thing to do. So remove all the hair that is inside the hairbrush. Next up, to actually wash it and make sure that it's properly washed, you're going to want to mix 2 tablespoons of baking soda with 2 cups of warm water, and just mix that all together, and then put your hairbrush in that for 15 minutes at least. Sometimes I leave it for anywhere up to half an hour, but it completely depends on you. But as long as it's been in there for 15 minutes, the job will be done, and then just rinse it off and let it dry. dry. Doing this weekly is going to make sure that all the bacteria is off of your hairbrush, and it's just the best tool to be using on your hair. There's no point using really expensive products or just really good hair care products on your hair if you're then going in with a hairbrush that is dirty and ridden with bacteria. So that's definitely a thing that I do all the time now, and it's made such a big difference. Not only that, it helps your hairbrush last longer because you're looking after it a lot more, which saves you money in the long run. So I touched on this in my last point, but nourishing your scalp is more important than you think. And it's kind of the myth of where they say get your hair trimmed every 6 weeks encourages your hair to grow. It's not true at all, because your hair grows from your scalp. Anytime your hair starts to grow, especially if you've experienced hair loss or anything like that, then it's obviously your scalp that is encouraging those hair follicles to come through. So make sure that you look after your scalp more so than anything else. So I talked more about this in my growing your hair long video, which I'll leave linked above and down below for you because I talk so much more in depth. But you can get products such as scalp massages and actual scalp treatments to help encourage your hair to grow longer or thicker depending on what your hair goal is. But just look after your scalp. It's probably the most important part of your head, especially when it comes to your hair growth. Now the next thing I want to mention about growing your hair healthy is split ends. And did you know split ends can't be fixed? As much as some products claim to prove that they fix split ends, they basically temporarily glue them together, and that's how those types of products work. So when you look at your hair, it looks like they've completely gone, but in reality the split end is still there and your hair could split further up. So it's best to basically not spend your money on products that claim to fix split ends, but instead invest that money into a conditioner. Conditioner for me is the most important part of your hair care routine because it's what's basically nourishing and hydrating your hair until your next hair wash. So that for me is one of those things. If you do use split end treatments or remedies, I would just put that money into a conditioner and get a better version, something that doesn't have nasty ingredients in it, and get something that makes your hair look as good as it possibly can, that's really suited to your hair needs. With that said, if you do have split ends in your hair, it's incredibly dry and you're starting this healthy hair journey, you're going to have to get rid of those split ends. I mean, I think we've all been there where our hair has been totally disastrous and we've had to get quite a dramatic haircut to just get rid of the split ends, and I've definitely been there. I've had my hair grow to almost a similar length as this, but honestly from like this point down it was just dry, brittle hair that was just complete split ends. Honestly, I look back at photos now and it makes me feel so sad because I thought I had really nice long hair, but in reality it was completely dead from that on. So I then got my hair cut to like this length and started again. Unfortunately, if you have had years and years of neglecting your hair and your hair is looking just damaged but it's majority split ends, unfortunately you're probably going to have to cut it off. But that said, if you then follow these new steps to promote your hair then growing longer and also thicker and in the best possible health, then there's no reason why you can't get that length back and have it as healthy as it should be. It's exactly the process I went through. Like I said, I had hair that was completely dead, whereas now it's pretty long. It's the longest it's ever been and it's so healthy. I've not had my hair cut since January 2020 and it's just such good condition. I don't have many split ends and I always keep an eye on them, because if I start to notice that I've got a lot more split ends than I did when I last checked, then I'll consider booking them for a hair trim or just to get my hair done. I find it easier just to get a hair trim when you notice lots of split ends because it prevents further breakage. But if you follow my other hair care tips, then chances are you're not going to get split ends half as much as you used to. My next tip is probably one that you've heard 1,000,001 times, and it's something I've spoken about in previous videos too, but it's avoiding heat as much as possible. Heat protection sprays don't stop any damage, they just lessen the damage pretty much, but they don't stop it completely. And with that in mind, the less you use heat, the more your hair is going to grow healthier, longer and thicker. It's as simple as that. And it sucks because obviously you want to style your hair, you want your hair to look nice, especially if you've got it to a length that you're really happy with and you're looking to just increase the health of it. But I say try heatless styles. There's so many different ideas online that you can try out. You can plait your hair overnight to get the really nice beach waves effect. You can do the TikTok dressing gown hack. There's so many inventive ways to get really nice curls. or other styles in your hair that don't require heat. It probably just encourages you to sleep in a particular hairstyle or to use rollers or something like that. The less heat you use on the hair, the better. And I have gone from being someone that used to blow dry my hair after every wash, straighten it pretty much every day, and if I didn't straighten it I would curl it, crimp it. I did so much to my hair, and no wonder it was so damaged beforehand. Whereas now I find that if I straighten my hair, it normally lasts for 2 days. If I curl my hair, the same thing, it lasts for a good couple of days. And then I'll wear my hair up at night to try and preserve those curls. I'll put my hair up as much as I possibly can using those gentle hairbands, or I will sleep in plaits, for example, if I do want that kind of beach wave look. So yeah, there are lots of different options, but ultimately the less heat you use on your hair, the better. So many people are saying the same thing, and that's because it's so true. So just be mindful. Even if you cut your hair tools in half and you use half the heat that you used to, it's baby steps, and it's so difficult when you're so used to using hair dryers all the time, hair straighteners all the time. But try and be a bit more inventive, and I'm sure that you'll be really surprised about how good you can get your hair looking without using heat. So next tip is more focused on if you live in an area with hard water. Now this is something that I used to go through. I've thankfully moved to an area that now has a lot softer water. However, when I lived in London, and the water there was so incredibly hard, and hard water does so much damage to your hair. So hard water causes your hair to have a rough texture to it. It will make it look lackluster and generally quite dull. No matter if you're investing in deep conditioning products, you'll find that the hair is causing a lot of your hair concerns. So if you can get a water softening system, they are generally quite pricey, but if you know that you're going to be in a property long term, if it's rented or if you own a house in a hard water area, it's definitely something to consider, because not only does hard water negatively affect your hair health, but it also does terrible things to your skin too, which is a whole different rabbit hole. But you could be spending so much money and time in your hair care routine and just feel frustrated that certain things aren't changing, and that could be because of the hardness of your water. So you can find out online if you live in a hard water area. I typically used to know that by how much lime scale was in the kettle, and honestly, when I was in London it was terrible. But like I said, thankfully now I don't have that problem. But I noticed such a difference in my hair health too when I moved from London back to Devon, and my hair just suddenly became so much healthier, and I hadn't changed anything. I used the same shampoo, same conditioner, same hair mask, and suddenly it went from being really dry and brittle and dull to generally looking a lot healthier and more shiny, and that's literally down to the water. It's crazy. So the 7th tip is try natural hair masks. This isn't something that I've typically talked much on my channel, but I definitely can do videos if you want to see how we can make homemade hair masks together, and I can show you the different results. It's definitely something I can look into, so let me know if it's something that you'd like to see. But all you have to do is look online, or Pinterest I find is such a great resource on finding which ingredients work best together to make homemade hair masks. And doing this, you can use products that you may already have in your cupboard. If not, they're really affordable products such as bananas that you can get in supermarkets, and you can make your own hair masks that can provide long-term benefits, especially if you don't want to spend lots of money on brand hair masks. Then this could be a really great alternative for you. So this could include things like bananas, avocado, aloe vera, coconut oil, and things like that, to combine a really great hair mask that you can use on your hair, leave on for as long as you like, and then you'll see some really good results. And you'll be surprised about how these household ingredients can really change the way that your hair looks and feels. The next tip is apply a SPF to your hair if you are in a hotter climate, or if you're going on holiday, or if it's generally the summer. If you're applying SPF to your skin, which you should do most days, then definitely apply SPF to your hair, because your hair is the same as your skin. It's like I've mentioned before, but your hair can get dry in hot weather, and it can become heat damaged too. When your hair is negatively affected by the heat, it can cause extra split ends, brittleness, and your hair may just become more sensitive in general. You can get SPF for your hair for a really low price. I literally got one a couple of weeks ago from Primark. I'll leave that video linked above if you want to watch that. But I literally paid £3 for a spray-in hair SPF, which is SPF 50, which I wouldn't say get anything less than SPF 50 because then you're covered as long as it doesn't get hotter than that, which most climates don't unless you're in a beautiful area. And that was £3. It's 5-star UVA rated, I think that's what it's called, and it's not a huge bottle, but for £3 that will last you for the summer. You want to make sure that you spray your hair. I would probably wear my hair up if I was like having a beach day, spray my hair with SPF, and I know that that way it's in as much health as possible and I'm really looking after it with the weather in mind. And the last tip is another ingredient to look out for in your hair care that could be weighing your hair down even more. So I've talked before about sulfates and parabens. I think a lot of people know those types of ingredients are ones that you want to avoid in your hair care routine because they basically create a false sense of health. Your hair might appear really soft and shiny. You might think, wow, this shampoo and conditioner has done wonders for my hair, but in reality sulfates, for example, coat your hair in like some artificial covering. I can't remember exactly how it's described, but you can basically scrape off sulfates in some instances and it just coats your hair in an unnecessary layer of almost like a plastic-like consistency that, although it appears really shiny and soft, it's completely artificial and it's doing nothing for your hair and it stops things truly penetrating your hair. So another ingredient to avoid is alcohol, and there's specific alcohols that you should avoid because they're basically like rubbing alcohols, which is a really dry ingredient, and you'll be surprised how many products have these alcohols in them. That said, not all alcohols are terrible to have in your hair care routine. You want to be considered how high up they are in the ingredients list. The Primark hair mask I tried in my last video, alcohol was the second ingredient, and that's really bad. It's one of those things to really be mindful of in cheaper hair care, which is the trend that I've found, especially if you're looking for paraben free and sulfate free. You might think, brilliant, that ticks all the boxes because it's not got sulfates, it's not got parabens. But if it's got a lot of alcohol and a lot of drying products, then it's not going to do much good for your hair. So that's just something that I would say avoid. I'm researching a lot more about alcohols in products and which ones to avoid and which ones are a little bit more safer to have. Some alcohols can be used as a preservative and some do help certain things penetrate into your hair. So it's obviously a journey that I'm taking on to learn more about, but it's just something to be mindful of, especially on those more affordable hair care products that seem to tick all the boxes, but when you look at the ingredients list, they're just a little bit more damaging than other products that could achieve better results. So those are 9 top tips for having healthier hair. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give this video a thumbs up and please do subscribe down below for more hair care videos as well as beauty and a bit of lifestyle too. By subscribing to my channel, it really helps my videos reach new people and it really gives me an indication of what type of content you really enjoy. So please do let me know down below what videos you'd like to see in the future. And that's all from me today. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!